Remember, there's some pretty important information here in the disclaimer. You might want to give the video a quick pause and read it.
Hello my friends, this is Wake Angel 2001 coming at you with a commission for the big guy. It is Dark Supersonic. Well, I recently found out that technically it's just Dark Sonic. Dark Supersonic is a fan name, although technically Dark Sonic is also a fan name. Apparently it took Sega years to acknowledge that this form actually has a technical name. I mean, I guess the fact that it appeared in the Sonic X anime for less than a minute of actual screen time kind of tracks for that. I don't think that they ever expected it to blow up in popularity as much as it did. But how can it not? I mean, this guy is made out of pure lore. I mean, he was surrounded by artificial Chaos Emeralds, which is something that, we found out could be a thing in Sonic Adventure 2 when Tails managed to make one. And it's the result of what happens when Sonic is overcome by negative emotions and uses the negative energy from the Chaos Emeralds instead of the usual positive energy, which is something that they established in Sonic Adventure, because that's what Chaos did to transform into perfect chaos. So, yeah, he perfectly tracks with all the established lore about the Chaos Emeralds. And Big Guy, apparently he wants to do a stop-motion series, which will, of Nazo Unleashed, which will use Dark Supersonic, of course, so, this figure is going to be in that. So, yeah, that's going to be cool. Alright, so since this is Dark Supersonic, of course the base figure is going to be a Supersonic figure. I had one lying around from that Sonic Forums 3-pack, so, just had to go ahead and do the thing. Alright, so the Dark Supersonic is built exactly the same way that Sonic is, so he dismantles to this point. Everything comes out except for the shoulders and hips. And instead of going straight to the painting, I decided to break out the RIT die. This is the navy blue RIT die that I used on, when I was making the Rotor figure for the Saturday morning collection. And, it actually suits Dark Supersonic way better than it suited Rotor, because I just underestimated how close to black this shade of navy blue actually is. But yes, the dye actually adhered quite well to the figure, and to avoid problems, I followed the advice of someone who told me after dyeing the figure to drop it in a cup of water and let it sit there for a day or so. So I let it sit overnight, and eventually all the excess dye floated away from it, leaving only a nice, clean, darkly dyed thing with pin discs that I wouldn't have to worry about paint scraping off of. Of course, just because I dyed the body doesn't mean I actually didn't paint the figure itself as well, because the head, I didn't want to have to worry about painting white over navy blue, so I used a little bit of acetone to wipe away the red irises, and then painted the eyes completely white. And then now, you think this is black. On your screen, it probably looks black, but I noticed that there was a very faint blue aura, in the way that Dark Supersonic looks. So I decided to, it is mostly black paint, but then I put a drop of blue paint into it to add just that slight little hint of a blue, a blue tint. I think blue tint would be a good word to use for it. To create it very much matches the dye. It's a very deep navy blue. A very, very deep navy blue. And for the parts of Supersonic that are normally flesh color, like his arms, belly patch, and his muzzle and the insides of his ears, that is also mostly black paint, but I added 2 drops of blue paint, making a very slightly lighter navy blue. It's actually really hard to tell unless you put a super bright light right up against it and really look, but the subtle little difference is there. And that is basically it. Dark Supersonic, when you get down to it, is really just a repaint of Supersonic. But really, because of the dyeing process, I don't have to worry about any yellow or skin tone showing up when in, the armpits or inside the knees or hips, you know? Like, it would be really immersion breaking if you're looking at a dark Supersonic and then you bend his knee and all of a sudden you see bright yellow peeking out there. It'll just look weird. But yeah, that's all there is to it. So, after all this time, I finally made a Dark Supersonic custom. For how simple it is, you'd think I would have done this years ago, but I guess not. Alright, thank you all for watching the video. This is Wake Angel 2001, signing off.
Oh, hey everybody, it's me, Sonic the Hedgehog. Just here to remind you that if you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button. And for even more amazing customs, don't forget to subscribe to Wake Angel 2001. Because between you and me, they're way past cool.